hour of our Day of Giving with the American Red Cross. The Red Cross does so much in our community every day. As we've shown you throughout the day, the need, unfortunately, is continuous. So we will be here until 7 o'clock tonight. It's an extra 30 minutes.
You can see all the ways to donate on the bottom of your screen, but there are so many ways that you can give back, including signing up to be a volunteer. I recently had the chance to sit down with 4 volunteers who answered the call when back-to-back hurricanes hit Florida and the Carolinas.
The devastation that I saw was just...
The trailers that were just mangled as we were driving.
They will never forget the people they helped.
So most of them were rescued on those airboats you saw on television.
And we need help. We need food.
Families in some of their darkest moments.
There was this one little girl named Melody, and I know she lost everything.
She told me about her father that was killed early on in the hurricane, and he was on top of a 3rd-story building and got swept away with a neighbor.
In a time where
Sam Pulia, Pattie Eakin, Al Lopez, and Terry Nosal could have stayed safely in their own homes when Hurricanes Helene and Milton hit. Instead, as Red Cross volunteers, they traveled hundreds of miles from the Chicago area to Florida and North Carolina to help the victims of the brutal storms.
Once you get there, you just really can't imagine it.
All 4 found a second calling after retirement.
The trees that were knocked over, that, the roots were 6 feet high, mind-boggling.
Sam was a police chief and mayor of suburban Westchester, who served as a rescue worker in New York for 9/11 before joining the Red Cross. He deployed to the Tampa area during the hurricanes, working in a shelter, helping hundreds of people.
We interacted with a lot of people.
Pattie is a retired teacher who headed to Crystal River, Florida.
So I was there the day one we opened the shelter, and there was a line.
Al served in the Army and as a police officer before flying to Tallahassee to help.
Our job was to feed. We would go up and down the roads. We fed anybody. Of course, our main objective was to feed the people who were affected.
For these 3, it was their first disaster deployment, while Terry is the seasoned pro in the group, helping in many hurricanes, wildfires in California, and flooding in Illinois.
Every one of these disaster relief operations is different.
He's been there right after, and weeks, even months later, making sure families aren't forgotten. That's what drew him to Asheville, North Carolina this time.
It does change from taking care of people initially in the shelters to make sure they're safe, to helping them move along once they're able to get back in their house to possibly help clean up and do damage assessments.
how do you find ways when someone has lost pretty much everything to connect with them, to make them feel better, to make them feel safe?
A lot of my people wanted to tell their story of their rescue. I'm just an ear. Sometimes they need a hug, and that's probably the most powerful thing that all of us do, is just listen to their story, because some of them feel insignificant or not heard, and it's just, you know, I hear you, let me see what I can do for you. We will get through this.
I noticed you said my people.
I really, really connected with them. They're my family.
And every volunteer here is ready and willing to do it again.
So the operation continues there.
Just a matter of when.
We had a tear in our eye when we were leaving.
I put my name on the list to be redeployed during Thanksgiving, so.
There's always the next one.
It really was so incredible to sit down with all four of them. And in some ways, when they went back home, they felt guilty that they had a house, that they had a family to go to, and they're so ready to go back. It's really impressive.
Well, the takeaway after watching that is just how much of an impact it had on the volunteers.
Right.
You know what it meant to the people who, in their words, lost everything, to have them there and to comfort and support them. Just a great, great story.
We're so thankful for all that they do.
Yeah.